Hello there and welcome. I'm Bob Proctor. I wanted to talk to you about forming a habit that'll literally change your world. I formed this habit a long time ago, and I'm going to tell you, my world changed like night and day. It worked for me. It'll work for you. But before we get into it, I want you to come back in history with me to September 12, 1962. For the eyes of the world now look into space, to the moon and to the planets beyond. Their leadership in science and industry, our hopes for peace and security, our obligations to ourselves as well as others, all require us to make this effort, to solve these mysteries, to solve them for the good of all men. There is no strife, no prejudice, no national conflict in outer space as yet. Its hazards are hostile to us all. Its conquest deserves the best of all mankind. We choose to go to the moon. The audience applauds. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard, because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win. Do you know what John Kennedy did there? He made a decision. That was a decision. It was a big decision, and it changed everything forever. Well, decision is something most people never really learn, and for good reason. Stay with me because I'm going to show you something here that you possibly have never looked at before. This book changed everything for me. In this book, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, there are 15 chapters. One chapter, the entire chapter, is dedicated to decision. Now you may say, well, I make decisions. Do you really? You may make little ones, but do you make the real important ones? Do you go after what you want in life? Do you get everything you want in life? See, the truth is, only about 3% of people are really living the way they want to live, driving the car they want to drive, taking the trips they want to take, living in the houses they want to live in. Most people do not, and they'll tell you why they can't, giving you a string of reasons a mile long, all seem very practical, very reasonable, and the leader of them all is they can't afford it. Well, the truth is, we live in the richest country in the history of the world. Money is the easiest thing in the world to earn. Once you learn how, if you turn making a decision into a habit, you're going to learn how to do a whole lot of things you may think you can't do. See, what we're doing is exploring a side of our personality that we really don't understand. Now, I photographed a page out of here. Napoleon Hill said, "Those who reach decisions promptly and definitely know what they want, and they generally get it. The leaders in every walk of life decide quickly and firmly. That's the major reason why they're leaders." He said, "The world has the habit of making room for the man or woman whose words and actions show they know where they're going." And he went on to explain why we have difficulty here, for very good reason. Indecision is a habit which usually begins in youth. The habit takes on permanency as the youth goes, through grade school, high school, eventually through college without any definite purpose. The major weakness of all educational systems is that they neither teach nor encourage the habit of definite decision. Now, why is that? Well, the truth is, most people really don't know. We're dealing with a side of our personality that most people do not understand. What you see here is not me. This is my body. You never hear anyone say, "am hand." You see, we've got to take a look at the non-physical side of ourselves. President Lincoln put that very well. He said, "To believe in the things you can see and touch is no belief at all, but to believe in the unseen is a triumph and a blessing." Well, let's look at this. Making a decision. We're going into the unseen part of ourselves, using faculties most people don't even know they've got. You see, Einstein said the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, while he said the rational mind is a faithful servant. He said we have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. What is the servant? Well, there it is there. It's our sensory factors. We can see, hear, smell, taste, touch. What are they for? They're to help us correspond and communicate with our outside world. But you know that the physical world is nothing but the manifestation of the non-physical world. That's right. Here we've got something that's nothing short of a miracle when we look at it properly. This is a little cell phone. It has more power than the computer that took the first rocket to the moon. Think of that. And I'm carrying it around in my pocket. And touch a button and bang, like that, send a picture to you, and you'll get it simultaneous with me sending it. How does all that happen? Well, it happens because we're dealing with the non-physical side of ourselves. We're dealing with just pure power. How do we get at that? Well, we've been gifted with something no other form of animal life has. We have these higher faculties. You've got perception, memory, imagination, will, reason, intuition. I want you to shift your perception for a moment of yourself. You know, our good friend, the late Wayne Dyer, put that very well. He said, when you change the way you look at something, what you look at will change. Change your perception. Do you know the reason most people don't make decisions? Because they can't see how they're going to get there. So what do? They keep doing things that they can see how they're going to get there. And that's why their life never really changes. Stick with me here for a moment. I think of you. You are a mass of energy, and you function on frequencies. That's what you are. Take a look at yourself. Here's a shot taken by Kirlian photography. Semyon Kirlian was a Russian who perfected a principle. He believed that his way of life was healthier and happier than formerly suspected by science. Of photography way back in the early 30s. It'll photograph mass, where you can photograph the energy leaving the body. There's a glow of energy around you. This physical thing we live in is a mass of energy. Well, we're going to be talking about the non-physical side. You see, a frequency is a level of vibration. Do you know vibration is a natural law of the universe? Everything vibrates. Nothing rests. We live in an ocean of motion. Now there's an infinite number of frequencies. Now, get this. Let all these lines represent levels of vibration, okay? Levels of vibration, as we said, are referred to as frequencies. You and I think on frequencies, the highest function we're capable of. Now, here's where you really want to pay attention. If you get this, if I communicate this effectively, your life can change, because it sure changed mine. We think on a frequency, and the frequency we think on dictates the results we get. So we're sitting here, and you see these are the results, but this is where I really want to go, and we point to a star. We make a committed decision. That's where I'm going. And when you make the committed decision, it's irrevocable. You cannot go back. You shut the past off. You begin thinking on this higher frequency, and you think and act like the person you want to become. Does it sound preposterous? That's what the Wright brothers did, and they introduced us to a new kingdom. That's what Sir Edmund Hillary did. I had the good fortune of working with him. He was a beekeeper from Auckland, New Zealand. He was the first person to ever climb Mount Everest. He didn't know how to get to the top of that mountain until after he got there. He trusted in the image that he held in his mind.